What's going on, guys? This is the 5 Hour Pass podcast with me, Suddy, and my mustache, and Shyam. Here to bring you the Leicester versus Man City Charity Shield game, Community Shield game. Sorry, it used to be called the Charity Shield. An exciting game, I think. Two of the best teams in the world, two of the best teams in the league last year, obviously, as you have to be if you're in the Community Shield. FA Cup winners Leicester take on the league champion City. It's going to be a good game, don't you think, Shyam?
Yeah, it'll be interesting game. It'll be interesting to see how City sort of slot in. I think the whole idea with them just getting Grealish, it looks like Grealish should be available to play, but even without him, City is starting to look a bit like a fantasy football team. Um,
Mm,
so the idea of who can sort of take them down is a very interesting one. I do think Leicester have a chance. The
hmm
smart money's probably on City though,
hmm
but a lot will depend on how they come back from the Euros as well, and how much
Yeah,
game
exactly.
they've been having, and how ready the players are because they've had some good friendly wins, but they haven't sort of played a Premier League side yet.
Yeah, so Leicester obviously surprised most people. Won the FA Cup last year. They beat Stoke away, Brentford away, Brighton, United, Southampton at home to the semi-final run, and obviously beating Chelsea with a wonder strike from Ndidi. Man City,
Tielemans, man,
basic.
Tielemans. Just to be
Oh,
clear.
excuse me, Tielemans. Man City wouldn't say ran away with it, but at least towards the end, they definitely ran away with the league. They're by far the best team, and they have been for the last 5 to 10 years. They've had a few to kind of lead up to this game. Before we get to team news, they've had a few friendlies recently. Man City scoring for fun. They beat Preston 2-0, I think it was last night. They beat Barnsley 4-0, Blackpool 4-1. They've been able to use a couple of extra players like Palmer coming through the ranks. There's another guy, I just want to get his name right as well, Edozie as well, who plays on the wing. Palmer playing in the midfield. He's actually a football manager prodigy, if I'm not wrong. So an interesting player who could feature. But let's get straight to it, man. Team news. We'll start off with Leicester and how we think they're going to line up. So Castanier's back. I think. Sorry, no. So Castanier's injured. Soyuncu's back. James Dustin's injured. Evans, and we were just talking about it about an hour ago. Fofana, that horrific injury. They're all out. The people who are back, and Didi, Soyuncu, Schmeichel, Harvey Barnes hasn't played since February. And the one doubt could be Madison, who might be going to Arsenal in the next few days. So that could be interesting. But let's talk about how important Fofana and Fofana mostly. I think he had a great season last year. It would be a shame if this puts him out for more than the season or for the season.
Yeah, it broken legs. It depends on the nature of the injury. I've seen broken players get back from broken legs after 6 weeks, but then sometimes it
Mm,
takes 6 months. Sometimes they take 12 months, and
yeah,
even longer in some cases. They're saying
yeah,
he'll be out for the season, and it's such a bad blow. He had such a good first season, and you almost wonder, like in terms of his overall career, I think he had the ability to make it to the very, very top, but that comes under
hmm
question again. And to get
yeah,
that sort of tackle in a preseason game, like it was just poor and it was
mm,
cheap and it was really disgusting to watch. Actually, it was
yeah.
completely unnecessary tackle.
Well,
They'll
yeah,
beat
absolutely.
Villarreal 3-0, so maybe there's some frustration in it, but that's not a justification by any stretch of the imagination.
No. Well, I mean, yeah, with the broken leg, I obviously, if you remember, I had one about 10, 12 years ago, and he has youth on his side in terms of physically and emotionally getting over it. But I mean, emotionally, you look at someone like Luke Shaw, it's taken years for him to get over it. It took a bit for Aaron Ramsey as well, so you never know. But I mean, with that being said, they did buy Bertrand as well, Leicester, so they will line up very strongly. I think Pereira on the right, Bertrand on the left, and Didi Soyonku in the middle. Schmeichel, obviously, who had a great Euros after that heroic run. I didn't realize Harvey Barnes had been out for so long, but he's back for the friendlies, and I think that midfield won't change too much. You see Taylor, you see Albrighton, and I think Vardy and Iheanacho are back for the game, man. I think. What do you think about Vardy this season? Do you think it's going to be a season of decline, or do you think he's someone who can push on, or do you think he's going to play second fiddle to Iheanacho because Iheanacho had a great kind of end of the season?
I think that yeah, if Ian Archer kicks on and plays at that level, he will take Vardy's spot. I think
Yeah,
that we've probably seen the last of Jamie Vardy genuinely competing at that
terrorizing.
level and
Yeah,
terrorizing defenses. He
yeah,
will become, I think, a cameo player that will play an important role, but off the
yeah.
bench a bit more than starting. I don't see him playing week in week out like he always has. Even when he won the Golden Boot in 2020, he was the oldest player to win the Golden Boot. So it
hmm
shows how close he is to sort of that end.
Yeah.
The fact that Iniacha kicked on was great, and there's an opportunity for him. And then there's a Ducker, sorry, that's come over from Salzburg. Um,
Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes,
the guy,
yes.
and he was Erling Haaland's replacement at Salzburg, so he's got
hmm
some pedigree there as well, and done very well. Got his move to Leicester, um,
Yeah.
and the thing that interests me though is Madison going to Arsenal. Maybe there's more money involved, but it doesn't exactly look like a step up to me. Madison
Yeah,
going
I
Arsenal,
wish.
and particularly in a team that has a lot of number 10s as well.
Yeah, I wish we knew about this a few days ago when we did our Leicester preview, which came out, I guess, yesterday. We could have talked about it a bit more, but it is an unusual one. I mean, it's a step. I mean, it's a step down. Look at Emilio Martinez, the goalkeeper, went to Aston Villa. He knew what he was doing. For me, he's done. He's going to step up in his career, and I think it wouldn't be the smartest thing going to Arsenal. But you have that thing now with players thinking they can revive teams, and I think Jadon Sancho thinks of that of himself with United. I can go there. I can be the guy to revive the team. So well, we'll wait and see with that one. Okay, now going off to City. City have a bunch of players not available, which could be, which for Leicester could be a huge deal. It's second bit of trophy in 6 months, and a team like Leicester, they want to get that momentum. They want to build trophy cabinets. They want to, they could buy it off Spurs if they wanted to because they haven't used theirs for a while. But City have only one injury in Phil Foden, but they have a bunch of players not available. Walker, Stones, Sterling, De Bruyne, who might be injured quite long term from that Euros injury. Rodri, Ferran, Torres, Zinchenko, Gabriel Jesus as well. A very depleted side. I don't think they're going to worry too much if they lose this game. Do you think they have what it takes to win?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, if you look at the players who are out, that's all well and good. But if you think about the players they'll have, they'll probably start. I think they will start their best team in this game. It's the first game against
Hmm.
Premier League opposition. So if you look ahead of the
Yeah.
back four, you still got Fernandinho, Gundogan, Mahrez. Well, Foden's not there, is he?
No, no.
I feel like Foden's injured. Sorry, but yeah,
Yeah.
they still have a lot of really good players there. The De Bruyne one concerns me. He seems to get injured quite a bit. He's an absolute star when he plays, and is such a
Yeah.
difference maker. Even in that City team, if you look at sort of whoscored.com, the second highest player was Mahrez with 7.31. He was doing 7.65, which was kind of like Harry Kane level statistics. So he's a
Yeah.
massive difference maker, but he seems to just get injured a lot more now, which is a bit of a worry. But City have two world class players, probably two world class players for every position, bar their striker. But they do go with a false nine at times as well. So in regards to one-off game, I wouldn't be too worried if I was City. But it does definitely level things up a bit. I think if City have everyone available, you'd assume that they win every game. Frankly, just the depth of quality and talent that they've got.
Yeah. I mean, City's kind of creating the idea of a super team in a competitive league, which I don't think has been done before. The way City are doing it right now, every year we think they have a super team, but this is maybe the best team on paper that they've had since '06 when they started this whole regime, if you will. Look, the Charity Shield is actually really interesting. It's a nice little appetizer for the main course that is next week, and everyone I think gets a bit too, I wouldn't say too worked up. Everyone gets really excited. Everyone gets really, buzzed up for it. But there is something to be buzzed about. I think it's going to be fans back in the stadium, full house. I'm fairly sure. I've read nothing to say otherwise. The Euros obviously was a huge testing ground, so I think Wembley will be back in full swing. Um, how do you see the game going? My standard question, Michelle, how do you see the game going? Who's going to be a key player for both sides? And I think, in my opinion, this could be one of the easier chances for a team to beat Man City. So how do you think Leicester will approach the game? And how do you think Man City will as well?
Pep Guardiola teams tend to start seasons very well. You almost see them win their first 5, 6 games, 18, 20 goals in
Hmm.
the goals column. I'm not sure if he's had the time to do that this year. Having said that, he's got a really good base to work off. I do think that
Hmm.
they will go at City. They'll play their style. Sorry, Man City will go at Leicester City and play their style. Leicester, I'm a bit worried about that injury to Fofana. I think that they look great forward of their defense in terms of those attacking sort of six positions. I'm a bit worried about how Leicester will be able to cope with Man City's defense, particularly with Fofana and Soyuncu, as you mentioned, didn't have the best Euros, but
Hmm.
their ability to hold on and keep that tight will be key to the game because I think
Hmm.
City's going to have a lot of possession. The game's going to be a lot in Leicester's half. Leicester will have the ability to break. How they take advantage of that is important. I think that given the six subs, you'll see a lot of subs, and I think Vardy will probably not start but come on and look to
Hmm.
sort of run in behind the defense. He is very good at that, but I think that
Hmm.
he'll be used more as an attacking weapon in the second half as opposed to playing from the start. So
Hmm.
it's going to be City going forward. If Leicester can hang on, they might be able to counterattack. But when you got a team going forward and a team trying to defend, I do err to the side that takes the game on as opposed to a side that reacts.
Hmm. Well, I always think it's interesting when Man City play Pep, sorry, excuse specifically Pep plays youngsters because you feel they're almost anointed, and I think this is going to be a tough game for Leicester in that spec because they're going to play Adozi and Palmer, who's a left. Adozi's a left wing. I think he's very much like run at like a Sterling or a Sancho who runs at players. Palmer's is a kind of a number 8 player, all very young players, but I think if you obey the Pep system, you can survive in it quite well. It'd be very interesting. And then you have Mendy on the left wing as well. These three players are all on the left. Mendy, who's got a chance to redeem himself. He's had about 4 seasons at City. He's played about 3 games and won about 200 trophies. I don't think people think much of him. I think people think he's a bit of a joke. And he won the World Cup in that span as well, playing none of the games. So it's a good game to get a bit of redemption, to set the standard. These guys are going to be out for the Euro players are not going to be back for a while. What can I do to put my stamp on the team as an 18-year-old? Like, I'd like about 15 games this season. Can I do that by showing a good show here?
A lot of younger players, like if you look at coaches who play tactical football, you talk about Van Gaal, for instance, at Ajax. Normally they do very well with younger players who are a bit easier to coach. Guardiola's a bit of an exception in that regard. He does not so much with the 18 to 21-year-olds. He tends to do better with sort of 21 to 24-year-olds, guys coming into their peak, as opposed to bringing players on who are very, very young. Messi's an obvious exception, but he was going to be a star anyway. But a lot of those Barca players were sort of coming to that maturation age, that sort of...
He's not a Barca player anymore, Shyam.
Yeah, I know he's not a Barca player anymore, but I'm talking more about his colleagues at Barca.
I know.
Yeah. But yeah, Guardiola tends to err on the side of caution when he brings those young players in. So it's important for them to grab opportunities, because City's outgoings this season, guys like Jack Harrison couldn't get in. There's been a couple of players that have sort of been moved on for who sort of couldn't quite make the jump from academy to first team. So whatever chances you get, you got to take them.
Absolutely. So, I mean, prediction, Champ, for the game?
I'm going to go 3-1 City. I'm going to go 3-1 City. I think that they will take it. They're quite the bookies' favourites for this game, $1.95. Leicester about $3.50. So it probably assumes that there's more City players available than not. I just think that is finer. They were 3-0 up. They ended up winning at 3-2, but I think it will knock them about a bit. Leicester might need to go onto the market again to replace Fofana if he's out for the season as well. So they'll have the scouting and all of that sort of sorted out. But I do think there's a need to replace him, and I'm not sure they can recover in time from that to get the win against Man City.
I think it'll be it's going to be a bit tough for Leicester. I'm not going to go 3-1. I'm going to go with a 1-0, maybe 2-0. With Ndidi dropping back, it's very much that Jordan Henderson kind of scenario where he's going to be missed in midfield. I'm going to go 2-0 at the most. It's going to be a tough game, though. I think it's going to be much more competitive than maybe you think. But who's to know? Any closing thoughts, Shyam?
Oh, good. I was actually going to mention Lionel Messi, because Man City were kind of looking for a striker who doesn't mind playing a false nine. So there's a school of talk about Messi, this whole being a power play between Barcelona and the league, and Messi's coming out and saying, I'm not signing, so Barca can go to the league and say, hey, we can't sign the world's best player, and it's your fault, and put the pressure on the league. Or is Lionel Messi actually going to walk away? Would he go to PSG or Man City? I get the feeling that the French league is not that appetizing for him. I feel like he would want to prove himself in England, and who better to do it with than Pep Guardiola from his perspective.
I actually think he's going to PSG. I think the complete opposite. Right. I think he only thinks he's very much like like Ferguson only ever cared about the Champions League because he knew the league was on autopilot, and it really was at the time. And I think more than anything else, he wants a Champions League, and I think winning Champions League in Paris would mean a bit more. I don't know why. I just have this feeling. But I also said Jack Grealish wasn't going to leave Villa, and he has. So, you know.
I think they will exhaust every option to get him into that Barcelona side with Messi. I do feel, though, if he doesn't sign at the end of the transfer window, he'll leave the club. So if they sign him before the end of the transfer window, he'll still be at Barca. If he after that, I think there's a massive chance that he will leave the club. So it would be interesting to see how that pans out, because you can sign with anyone after the transfer window shuts.
Exactly. It doesn't mean he's left. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean he can't go back to Barca. I think people forget that.
Yeah, so there's still a window there. This is clearly a power play. We'll see how it pans out.
Yeah. Sure, I've heard the power play as well. Anyway, look, Charity Shield, 8:00, I believe it is on Sunday our time. It's going to be a cracking match. It's a little appetizer for the season starts. I think you couldn't get two bigger teams, two more exciting teams in at the minute. It's Leicester versus Man City. Don't forget to catch that. And thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We've had a lot of views, a lot of comments lately. Really grateful for everyone who's kind of watching us and following us. We are the 5-Yard Pass. My name is Suddy. This is Shyam. Keep football simple. And as always,
keep passing, guys. Cheers.